This is Pam Electric Ghost. This episode is Peg Talks Up Social Dissonance with the expansive soundtrack Poison. Now, expansive sound is a concept that we came up with when we started The Ghost back in 2016. We decided to switch from doing our sound paintings, which was a concept that Jimi Hendrix brought up when some reporters asked him about Electric Ladyland, like why was it the way it sounded, which was significantly different than his first two records. And it had all this atmospheric guitar sounds that would sound like birds, sound like cosmic stuff and ocean waves and all these kind of audio tricks that normally he would probably do with a synthesizer, but he was doing with a guitar and effect pedals. So that what we do with expansive sound, we use hardware synths, analog and digital, to create the same kind of vibe, the sound painting, the sound experience, and we call it expansive sound because we're not limited in genre. We're inspired by the jazz great band Sun Ra that did very experimental stuff. One of our favorite albums from them is Jazz and Silhouette, and the other one is Space is the Place. The other influences we were kind of guided by, or Yes, like Rick Wakeman, Parliament Funkadelic, Bernie Worrell, and George Clinton, Prince. We also love the Allman Brothers, Cream, The Who. And then from a punk aesthetic, bands like Husker Du and The Replacements and REM. And then early Talking Heads, the Ramones. So we've got a lot of different influences as well as like new wave bands or proto new wave bands like New Order and Joy Division. And what we did with this song, which was interesting, is we're using a hardware synth, but it's different than a Moog. It's the Teenager Engineering OPZ. And what we do with our OPZ is we bring it into our workflow via a Roland Performance mixer called the MX1. And we can take a direct line, even though it's a very small, like eighth of an inch line, we can bring it right into the mixer because I have a channel that can accept that. And then we apply effects to it. Then we bring it into our new flow is we actually use a Yamaha mixer, and then we also bring it into the Zoom R24. The Yamaha we use to control the gain in the low and the high and compression and add additional effects. This particular track was brought in through the OPZ. Again, is the base of it where there's like up to 16 tracks on OPZ, but some of them aren't actually audio tracks. So we use the kick, the snare, the cymbal, a sample track, a bass track, a lead track, an arpeggiator, a chord track, and then there's effects. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We use 10 tracks off an OPZ. We put them onto tracks 1 and 2 in stereo on the Zoom. Then we recorded on tracks 3 and 4 Josephine Electric vocal, courtesy of VT4 Vocal Transformer. Now, this particular song is based on a poem that we had a collection of poems back in the 90s called Cancer. And it had this concept of microcosm, that cancer affects people at a social level with ideas like anomie and social dissonance and dislocation, all kinds of personal microcosm level stuff, which means like it's, at an individual level. And then macrocosm was just like a societal level. And I took sociology when I went to Bowdoin College, so I took some of these concepts, Weber and anomie and just a lot of different social concepts. So we were looking at that as some information to inspire what we were doing with the song. So using that Cancer poem gave us like the vibe that we wanted, and it's good to, we started off doing poetry, and poetry is like the focus of a lot of music we write. It's when we found the Roland vocal transformers and Josephine Electric's voice that we started to actually take these poems and turn them into lyrics and add them to our music, which we originally were doing on SoundCloud. And the story I tell before is we had about 1,800 listens on SoundCloud before we introduced vocals. When we got a JDXI from Roland, which is an analog hybrid digital synth, and one of the reasons we bought that is it actually had a microphone, which we don't use anymore, and it had a vocoder. So the first 3 Phantom Electric Ghost records on CD, which are on Amazon, Something Wicked, Indigo Menace, and Synesthesia, Sweet Neo Soul Surrender, were recorded using the JDXI vocoder for Josephine Electric's voice. And originally, we used the microphone on the JDXI. Then we moved up to a wireless microphone. Then we found there was some problems using that. So now we're using a Studio Electronics microphone that we like a lot. It has a shield on it, and it's got really good vocal capabilities. We use that along with our 3 mixers. And the VT3 we originally used, but for recordings in 2018, 2019, we've been using the VT4, which is from Roland, with the vocal transformer. It is polyphonic, has better capabilities over sound control. It has a harmony capability. A lot of times when we're recording, we'll real-time switch between different sound capabilities. We'll switch from using an auto pitch to not using the auto pitch, to using harmony, not using harmony, to use the megaphone, not use the megaphone, use the robot, use different capabilities to kind of give different flavors to her voice in different parts of the song. And since we live record, it just is interesting instead of just going in, punching in, punching out on a DAW, on a digital audio station. We record live because we like kind of doing. It's just a different feel when you do something live. It's kind of inspirational. You do it at the moment. We put it all on the tape, and then it's going to be that performance. We might do a couple takes, and then have different variations, and maybe go back to it later and tighten up the ideas. But it's the way we record. It's how we've been doing it, and we got picked up by Bentley Records this year. We also got picked up by Mojo Head Records. Mojo Head Records has the song You Still Have Some Personal Demons to Betray. Bentley Records, we've been putting out singles every week, moving toward our release of Dark Ghost Volume 1, which is different than what we have on SoundCloud. It's going to be a collection of what the best songs we've produced for Bentley in this kind of vibe with Dark Ghost, which is the original concept that we had when we had a really bad breakup with a previous artist we work with, and we use the songs to kind of drive out the poison in our soul. So this song, Poison, Wrecked, Wretch, and Wretched, like I said, it's from a collection of poems. It's in the microcosm section of Cancer, talking about the social distance between a person and the poison that's in society and how hatred rules us now. And in this kind of age, we think that song really fits. Like we said, the OPZ, this is great little hardware synth from Teenage Engineering. We worked out a lot of tracks on this little machine. We've used it for the Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb, which is on Amazon.com as a CD. You can get it for $49.99 on Amazon.com. You should check it out. We'll probably put a link to that in this episode. We've been very impressed with the OPZ. We use it a lot. It's kind of, a lot of times we use it for rhythm tracks, or we'll use it for basic tracks that we put into the OPZ. And it's been a very good machine for us in terms of our songwriting capability, because we can be away from our main rig, which is a pretty big rig and takes a lot of kind of preparation with the analog synths to set things up. And the OPZ is a lot faster. When you want to put together a track, you can just put it together very quickly and get something that's really interesting pretty fast, and then that's what we really like about it, because it's just a really amazing machine if you want to put together something really quickly that sounds great. And we've always been, impressed with it, and we're always hoping that one day that Teenage Engineering would maybe make a larger synth, because of what they've been able to do, and we've seen their hardware analog kits, which are very interesting. It would be cool to see if they actually made a full synth with a real keyboard. We think that would be a very amazing machine. It's just interesting that a machine so small can produce such a big sound, and we've been very impressed with what it can do. So we're going to talk to you later, and you check out all of our music, and hope that you enjoy what you hear. Give us an audio comment through the voice memo if you're into it. And we also interview artists, so if you're into interviews and you're an indie artist, contact us through the voice memo or at our Facebook at Phantom Electric Ghost. That's at Phantom Electric Ghost on Facebook with an instant message. Thank you.
The poison within. Now the poison without. And deadly is really dark. You're drifting through the unseen. Cancer is the cloud. How is it that hatred rules us now? Yeah, how is it that hatred rules us now? poison, the hatred rules us all right now. Poison and hatred rules us all right now. A poison within and without, without